Hello and welcome to our session today. We will be talking about the power of vegetables and how to incorporate them into your diet regularly. And this session will hopefully help you navigate everyday life with some useful information that will impact you to make some healthful and positive changes to your current lifestyle and food choices. My name is Jessica Sarasi. I am a student at Gateway Community College, majoring in nutrition and dietetics. And I'm currently an employee at Yale New Haven Hospital working as a clinical dietetic technician. And this is my fellow classmate, Ashley.
Hi, my name is Ashley Sodens. I am also a nutrition and dietetics student over at Gateway Community College. I also work at Connecticut Children's Medical Center over in Hartford, and I am a nutrition assistant in their NICU milk room.
So to get started, we're going to be discussing a bit about what we want you to take away from this presentation today. So starting out with the learning outcomes, we hope that after this presentation, you will be able to identify some starchy vegetables from some non-starchy vegetables. And we hope that you'll be able to recall how much starchy vegetables versus non-starchy vegetables belong on your plate. So basically portion sizes. And we also hope that you leave with a general understanding of the importance of both types of these vegetables in your diet, as well as being able to apply the information from this presentation to make a vegetable-based recipe, which we will provide you these recipes at the end of the presentation, as well as on the worksheet that we will be providing to you.
So first, we're just going to talk about a little bit of the benefits of vegetables. So vegetables, just like fruits, hold special properties that make them essential foods to have in our diets because they decrease chronic disease risk. Vegetables also hold the following benefits. They have antioxidants, which we had talked about in our fruit presentation, which antioxidants help get rid of the free radicals that can cause cancer and other diseases. They also hold the benefit of fiber, protein, and amino acids, as well as they have a host of vitamins and minerals. And vegetables also have added water content. And for women and men, their water intake varies depending on a variety of different things. But vegetables can help with hydration. And then for our serving sizes, 1 to 3 cups of vegetables every day should be the base.
So we're going to start talking first about starchy vegetables, and then we'll talk a little bit about, after this, non-starchy vegetables, and we can compare and contrast the two. So starchy vegetables, there's a picture there on the right. A few of them include sweet potatoes, white potatoes, and purple potatoes, corn, pumpkin, and butternut squash, as well as a few other squashes. So really kind of more those dense vegetables, more fibrous vegetables, are more so the starchy vegetables. And when you look at how much veg you should have on your plate, it usually should be half of your plate. So out of that half, 25% should be these starchy vegetables. So some benefits of the starchy vegetables is that they are very high in vitamin C and potassium. So if we're looking at, hypertension, high blood pressure, potassium is something that we would want to increase rather than the sodium content. So that's really great. And starchy vegetables are high in vitamin B as well, again, high in fiber. And also, the starchy vegetables come with various cooking methods. So by that, you can roast your starchy vegetables, you can saute starchy vegetables, microwave them, and also steam them. So when it comes to boiling some of these vegetables, I'm sure a lot of us have boiled white potatoes or sweet potatoes or whatever, trying to get them a little bit more soft. The best way to keep the vitamins and minerals to the best that they can be in these vegetables is actually to steam them. These starchy vegetables are really high in vitamin C and those vitamin B vitamins, so they're actually water soluble and they lose a lot of their vitamin content or B vitamin content and vitamin C content when they're in water. So you want to try to avoid boiling as much as possible or high heat cooking. So the best way to do that is by steaming them, microwaving them, sauteing or cooking them for a little bit of time, but not at high heat. So let's talk a little bit about the good and the bad of these vegetables. So again, starchy vegetables are rich in vitamins and minerals, like we discussed, but also the minerals being magnesium and zinc, and those are essential to our diet, and we might not get enough of that otherwise. And they do meet our fiber goals. So something else to note about fiber is, especially if somebody hasn't had a lot of fiber in their diet in the past, adding on a ton of fiber at once might, give you some upset in your GI tract. So you want to kind of like add in the fiber slowly and gradually and get up to your fiber goals each day that way, rather than throwing a ton of fiber in your diet at once. But though fiber is good, you want to kind of add it in gradually throughout your day. Also, something on the other side of this, the bad or the something to be concerned on would be that those that have diabetes, you might want to track these starchy vegetables more carefully than non-starchy vegetables. And that is because the starchy vegetables actually have a higher carbohydrate content. And that also means that it can cause the blood sugar to spike or to get higher quicker than non-starchy vegetables. So if you are someone that's managing diabetes, you can absolutely include these vegetables into your diet, but just be mindful of when you're eating them and how much of them you are eating.
Okay, so now we're going to talk about the non-starchy vegetables. So for non-starchy vegetables, you want 50% of the veggies on your plate should be non-starchy. So for these vegetables, it's going to be a lot of our leafy green vegetables. So things like spinach and broccoli, as well as like asparagus and Brussels sprouts. For this, all of these vegetables have great benefits, and first we're going to talk about the vitamins and minerals that we can get from these. So the main vitamins and minerals that we get from these non-starchy vegetables are folate, which is really important and helps our bodies make red and white blood cells. It also helps convert carbohydrates into energy, which is our main source of energy. And it is very important in pregnancy for growth. So the next one is potassium, and potassium is very important for fluid balance in our bodies as well as blood pressure control. Vitamin K is helpful with blood clotting within our bodies, as well as vitamin C is good for immune system function, and vitamin E is an antioxidant, which I mentioned before, and we had mentioned in our fruits presentation, that antioxidants help fight free radicals that can cause cancer and other harmful diseases. And this picture is just a cute illustration of Brussels sprouts and all of the vitamins and minerals that they contain. Okay, and the other huge benefit of non-starchy vegetables is going to be fiber. So we need fiber to help with digestion, as well as fiber helps us maintain a healthy weight. It also helps lower the risk of heart disease, lowers the risk of diabetes, and it can help lower the risk of some cancers. So in a typical day, women need 25 to 30 grams of fiber, and men need 30 to 38 grams of fiber.
Okay, so now we're going to be moving into purchasing and storage of your vegetables. So for the purchasing side, we want to make sure that we're looking for vibrant colors when it comes to those vegetables, like tomatoes and carrots and peppers and those kinds of vegetables. So color can really dictate how fresh something is, as well as how ripe something is and ready to eat, and also how healthy something might be. You know, we see color, we see what we should be eating, so we want to look for those colorful fruits, kind of like the colorful foods, kind of like the rainbow. Canned options are great options as well, but we want to make sure that we're checking for the sodium content with these vegetables. So when we talked in the introduction, we talked about the food label and how to read those food labels. So if you're going for canned options, just make sure to check the nutrition label on the back. We had discussed that seeing anything over like 20% sodium content per serving is something that we might want to be cautious of and portion out adequately. But otherwise, there are some options that you can be mindful of as well. Usually there's a no added salt option if you're getting some canned vegetables, which is a great option. And also you can always ask somebody that is working there if they can show you possibly a better option that is a lower sodium content. Also, purchasing whole vegetables instead of pre-cut is also a nice little trick. Purchasing whole vegetables will assist in you keeping those vegetables longer in your fridge or in your storage area. If you get pre-cut, usually those vegetables, although they are fresh and ready to eat, they have already been through water, they've been cleaned a few times at this point, so usually they do start the decomposition or the rotting process and start to go bad a little bit quicker in your fridge than you would see with whole vegetables that have not been cut or washed yet. But we do want to have you wash all your vegetables. So when you are ready to eat these or prepare these vegetables, you do want to wash all your vegetables. You know, they are coming straight from the ground, put in a truck and brought to your local grocery store. Sometimes they're washed, sometimes they're not. So you want to make sure that they're washed, but try to only wash them when you're ready to prepare them or to use them. Once vegetables start to have a lot of moisture, say you wash them when you first buy them and throw them in your fridge, it'll start again the process of decomposition and them starting to go bad quicker with all that added moisture. So when you do buy these vegetables, store them in your fridge or your freezer or in a dark, cool place, especially with potatoes and onions. You can put them in your basement or in your pantry, but we want to make sure that we're keeping kind of that moisture out. Even if you're throwing it in your fridge, some refrigerators have those separate storage bins where you can separate your vegetables out and it holds in the moisture. It keeps all excess moisture getting in. So that's a great tip. Also, you want to keep your vegetables separate from any raw animal foods such as raw fish, chicken, beef, any poultry, anything in your fridge that you would also like to prepare. This is because we want to prevent cross-contamination. So this is kind of where storage containers or labeling might come into play to keep everything more organized for you in your refrigerator. You always want to store your vegetables at a higher place than your meats or any other animal foods in your fridge. Also, you want to wrap your vegetables in plastic wrap to increase the shelf life. So I don't mean vegetables that haven't been cut yet. So when you cut your vegetables, you want to make sure you're wrapping them in plastic wrap or even a plastic bag. That way you keep and contain the freshness as long as possible.
Okay, so now we're going to talk about my favorite part, which is the recipes. So I'm going to give a brief overview of the 4 recipes that we are going to talk about today. And then we are also going to include with your handout a printout of all of these recipes and how to make them. So the first one is a vegetable bolognese. So for this, instead of using ground beef, which is a typical bolognese, you're going to use vegetables instead, which is great. So for this, you're going to gather all of your ingredients. You're going to get all of your ingredients together to make the vegetable meat sauce. And then you are also going to get zucchini. And in here, it wants you to make them into zoodles, which is just zucchini that looks like noodles. But they also sell them at the store. And they're already spiralized, so you don't have to worry about that. Or if you do have a spiralizer, then you could just easily put a whole zucchini through it and make the zoodles that way. You could also make this with regular pasta. You don't have to use just the zoodles in place of pasta. So this recipe is great and it's pretty easy and it doesn't take a very long time to make. So we're going to go to the next one, which is guacamole. So guacamole is great and it's also pretty easy to make. So basically what you need for this are avocados, lime juice, salt. You're going to dice an onion, you're going to use cilantro, and then you're going to get your tomatoes, minced garlic, and if you like it spicy, you can add cayenne pepper. If you don't like it spicy, then you can just omit that. And basically for this, you're just going to mash the avocado and mix everything together. So that's a super easy vegetable recipe. And then the next one that we have is the easy roasted vegetables. So for this, you're just going to grab whatever vegetables are your favorites. You're just going to cut them up into bite-sized pieces. You're going to toss them in a little bit of olive oil, and then you're going to add garlic and garlic, salt, and pepper to taste. And then you're just going to put them in a preheated oven that's at 400 degrees, and you're going to bake them for 15 to 20 minutes. And then our last recipe is a Greek vegetable salad. So this one is also a very easy recipe. And I love Greek salads. They're great, and it's a great way of getting different flavors without just getting a typical salad where you have a bunch of cut vegetables. This is a little bit different, and the taste flavor is also different. So you're going to need tomatoes for this, and you're going to chop them up. You're also going to need a medium-sized cucumber, and you're going to slice that up. You're going to need a half a cup of Kalamata olives, a half of a small red onion, and you're going to thinly slice that. And then you are going to use whatever Greek vinaigrette dressing. This recipe was from Kraft, so they want you to use the Kraft Greek vinaigrette, but you can use whichever one you want. And then for the feta cheese, also you can use whatever brand of feta cheese that you want. And also if you're vegan, they sell vegan feta cheese, so you can also purchase that and you can crumble that on top instead. And then you're just going to mix everything together, add your dressing, and then you're just going to serve this immediately, because if you let it sit for too long, it might get a little bit soggy.
So those are all really great recipes, and they'll all be included in the worksheet that we will provide to you at the end of this presentation. And lastly, some resources. So let's go over here. So there are 3 resources that we found that are very important specifically to this presentation. We'll always go back to eatright.org just because they do have amazing recipes that are for any budget, any diet restriction, or any choice of food that you love to eat, whether that's vegetarian or vegan or pescatarian. So they have so many recipes for you to choose from. They also now have an app where you can download the MyPlate on your phone, and it tracks your goals for yourself. There's no calorie counting, no carb counting or anything like that. It's just you meeting your goals with vegetables, grains, dairy, things like that. So they will, keep you accountable for your goals, and you can see how much of these food groups you're actually eating in your day, which is really great and something new that they did this year. The second resource is the Connecticut Department of Agriculture. So after doing a little bit of research, this is a really great resource for finding the farmers markets, especially now that spring is around the corner, or just started, and summer's around the corner. There's going to be tons of farmers markets out and available for you to browse and to shop at for local produce from farmers. So the Connecticut Department of Agriculture has a list of all the farmers markets in Connecticut and when they're operating and where they're operating. So this is a great resource. And lastly, the Cultivating a Healthy Food System, the CUESA, is actually an organization out of California. But I included it in your resource here because we want to encourage shopping seasonally for vegetables and produce. So if you can go into a farmer's market and do that, but you can also have a nice little list for yourself so you're aware of what vegetables and fruits are being sold seasonally and when they're in season. So you can go onto their website, which will be on the worksheet for you, and you can actually just take a picture or keep a list with you in your wallet or whatever you use to go shopping with, and you can have that list of the seasonal vegetables that are in season so that you know which ones to shop for. So I just thought that was a great resource as well to add here. But otherwise, let's see. So I believe this would actually conclude our presentation. And we've created the handout for you to take away, which features really all the information that we have shown you here today. And I really hope that you've enjoyed this presentation. We welcome any feedback and questions that you might have. And you'll be seeing myself and my fellow classmates and Ashley throughout the next few months discussing the last section of this presentation, which would be legumes. So you'll be seeing us very shortly with that subject sometime in April and May. So we thank you again for your time, and thank you very much.
Thank you so much. We hope you enjoy.